what are the biggest marketing mistakes that you see going on, and how can we fix those or find different ways, kind of different strategies to attack those?
Sure. I'll make this two. There's two things I would say. One thing we've talked about ad nauseum, so I won't dive too far down that rabbit trail, but sleeping on Google business pages is a huge mistake. A lot of people do a really good job on Facebook, really good job on Instagram, TikTok, whatever, and don't pay any attention to their Google business page other than setting it up properly, and then they never think about it again. Google business pages, with how the where Google is placing the results that are driven by your Google business pages, are as important as your website, I would say. I used to say almost as important. I would say today as important as your website. I just got off the phone with a client not long before we jumped on this call, and we were doing some searches over some keywords and key phrases, and on every single one of them, the map pack showed up first, and the results in the map pack were the very first thing you saw, and then the organic results driven by the website were beneath that. So, I mean, this is literally something that is arguably potentially even more important than your website based on where it comes up in the search results. So sleeping on your Google business page is one of the things I would say. The second thing I would say is I'll classify it as building your castle on somebody else's real estate. And what I mean by that is I've seen so many times in the industry where we talk to a client, they want to come on board to work with iMagnet, do things like that, and we find out they've been working with somebody else for 4 or 5 years. Maybe they're not getting the results they want, whatever the case may be. But we find out that they were given a package. It was like, it's this much a month, and we'll build a website for you. We'll build landing pages. We'll do all this stuff for you. Sounds great. Sounds within their budget. Sounds all these different things. The problem is you don't own anything. You're actually building your castle on somebody else's real estate. So if you ever decide, hey, that marketing company is not delivering the results I'd hoped for or whatever, you don't own, typically in most cases, you don't own that website. Or if they built you a landing page on this broader website and they're driving leads to you via landing pages, if you ever decide not to move on from that relationship, you don't own anything. And worse yet, unless it's in the fine print to protect you, which it typically might not be, they could literally take that landing page, change the branding on it, and take it, shop it to one of your competitors in your same town, and turn on that marketing campaign that you've spent years paying for, and they could turn it on for a competitor. So my big advice to everybody, you don't have to work with us. You can work with anybody you want, but your website, things like that, your Google AdWords campaign, make sure the things that you're spending money on are built on your real estate, assets that you own. So if you decide to change direction, you don't lose your website. I was just talking to somebody the other day that had been working with a company for years. I mean, multiple years, and they want to go a different direction. And when they do, they're literally walking away like with empty hands. They don't own anything that they've paid thousands upon thousands of dollars for over the years, and they don't own a thing. They don't own their website. They don't own anything. They don't even own their domain name. That was even registered by the company that was their marketing company. So they own nothing. They literally are starting again from scratch after spending potentially in the neighborhood of $20,000 over the last couple of years doing marketing, and they don't own anything. So that is a big mistake I see being made as well.
No, those are, I think, two really important ones. Mine's much more specific as far as social media goes. I think one of the things that I always notice, since I'm nitpicking everybody else's stuff, is definitely how you start videos and doing different things. If you don't edit your video start points and stuff, if you're trying to put a bunch of effort into making reels or TikToks, and you sit there and you're okay, and you wait 5 or 6 seconds to finally start speaking because you're trying to make sure everything's set up. You're losing people right off the bat. People are going to swipe by you and not pay attention. And the other one that I was going to mention that I think is super important for anybody who's doing any type of marketing strategy is defining your personal brand and your business brand. It's something I mentioned the last time we were on, and it's, you can get too distracted by trying to cover too many bases. If you think that you need to do A, B, C, D, E, and F, like you're not focused on the customers that you might be getting from A and B that you should be focusing on and trying to hit those specific target market. I think that's something that defining that target market and then using your brand strategy to use your content towards those people versus trying to scatter everything. I mentioned last time I was doing F1 stuff, and it's like anybody that's following my marketing page, they shouldn't be caring about Formula One or as much as I don't want to, like my kids stuff, like that should all be on my personal brand, and versus if I'm putting anything marketing related, making sure that I'm putting that on my business brand and focusing on those key items.
Yeah, I think that's great advice. And another thing you touched on there as well is, you know, I think a lot of people try to do too many things. And I think we touched on this even a couple weeks ago, where they end up doing a bunch of different things in a mediocre way instead of doing a couple of things really well. And you're really defining, like, if you're a business that your core demographic is, you know, 45 to 65 years old, it may not, I'm not saying there's anything wrong with the TikTok platform, but it may not be the platform. Like your demo might not be hanging out there.
Yep.
Likewise, if you're trying to hit a younger demo, let's say 15 to 25, spending a lot of time on Facebook is probably not hitting your demo. Because
like,
15 to 25-year-olds are not hanging out on Facebook.
Yeah, I mean, exactly. Knowing where those people that you're trying to hit, like if you're, like you said, if you're looking for young people, obviously like LinkedIn, some of the Facebook stuff might not work. But if you're looking for business professionals, then maybe you're going to have an older demographic, just like you said, that's going to be on. So understanding which platforms are going to be the best place to hit that target market. And that's something I'll probably ring the bell on a few times, just because understanding who you're marketing to should be one of the first key things that you should be defining as you start a business, is knowing, okay, what product or service do I have, and who are the best people that I'm going to be giving this product to or service that would make the most sense, that would benefit them the most.
And I mean, and here's the thing, you know, that can change over time too. As your business matures, as your business changes, as you pivot, who that demo is. I think a lot of people also get, you know, they get a certain formula that's worked for them, and they fall in love with this formula that has worked for them in the past. And then they just continue to rinse, repeat. But the problem is their business is actually pivoted. Their business has changed, but they're continuing to do the same things that they've always done, even though their business is actually different now than it was when they were doing those things. So again, if somebody goes from, let's just talk about, we have a lot of clients, obviously, in the window film industry. If they go from primarily being the guy that was like the car customization shop that did a lot of window tint, and now they want to pivot into doing more residential commercial, that's a completely different audience base. And not only is it potentially a different audience base when you're trying to target, even the type of content you would generate, if you want to call it the language, the voice you would use in that type of content is going to be different, because you're trying to reach business owners, property owners, homeowners, versus maybe a 25 something that wants to get their car tinted. So you really need to start every marketing exercise with, who am I trying to reach? And then that's going to define for you, what kind of content you're going to create and where you're going to put that content.
Yeah, no, I watched, I think something on one of the socials today. A guy was describing, like, and it goes with if you don't want to evolve, then what are you doing? And he was describing as somebody that said, I don't want to grow. I just want to keep doing the same thing that I'm doing and stick with that. But you have to realize your customers are going to evolve. They're going to be expecting more things. Your employees are going to be expecting you to kind of grow with them so that they have an opportunity to grow. So if you sit there and think, I'm just going to keep doing what I'm going to do and I'll be fine, you're going to lose probably some of your best customers, because they're going to be expecting more as time goes on. So just make sure that you're evolving at your own pace. Obviously, like we said, don't try to do too many things. You need to go at a steady pace, but understand that you need to continue to evolve, learn new skills, learn new techniques and trying different tools that you might come across. Because that's what's going to help you grow. That's what's going to help retain your customers and your employees.
Well, there is no, I've learned one thing in business over, however many years I've been doing this, 30 years. There is no such thing as status quo. You are either growing or you're falling back. Now, you may be growing or falling back at a slow rate to where you don't realize it, but there is no cruise control. There is no status quo. If you think that you've shifted it into, okay, I'm kind of fine, I'm just going to keep it right here. The problem is you without you maybe even perceiving it, you're starting to fall back, and you're starting to, even if it's just that you're not paying attention to what the new things are. It's like I liken it to a train that's leaving the station, and as it's picking up speed, you could still probably grab a handle and jump onto that car. But if you wait till it's 2 miles down the track and it's doing 20 miles an hour, you've missed your opportunity to jump on that train. So it's like, even if you're kind of like thinking, I'm not really trying to grow, I'm very busy already, you still need to be conscious of what else is going on so that you're adjusting your strategies and adjusting your business as time goes by. Or you're going to wake up one day and realize that train is going by at 50 miles an hour, and now there's no chance for you to jump on board because you missed it.